So this spring, Quebec rejected a proposed LNG plant because the regulators didn't accept that LNG would reduce global greenhouse gas emissions. We expect this type of production to grow in BC. And so I just want to know, how does the oil and gas industry grow under your leadership? And which specific subsidies are you looking to redirect first?
Well, British Columbians are really clear. We cannot continue to subsidize fossil fuels and expect clean energy to manifest somehow. We cannot continue to expand fossil fuel infrastructure and hit our climate goals. Our Clean BC plan and our legislated climate targets are of significant importance to British Columbians, and they are of significant importance to me. I've got 2 little kids at home. We have had an unbelievable drought today. I hope I don't regret saying this, but I welcome the rains. If we have 40 days of rain in a row, it might be the first thing as Premier I regret saying. But I am so excited to see the rain because we have had a drought, and there was in October a haze of forest fire smoke in our city, in Vancouver, and that is just one of many examples that we've seen: the floods, the heat dome, the forest fires that cause all British Columbians not just to be worried about their kids' future, but to be worried about our present and the impacts of climate change. We need to be leaders on this issue. I will be working with my colleagues in government, with British Columbians, around how we ensure we deliver on this critical issue. And I look forward to future announcements about how we're going to do that. Our Clean BC plan is the framework and the center of how we're going to do that.
And a follow-up?
So no specific redirection yet. You're working on it, and no moratorium on new LNG projects. That's what I'm hearing. And then just maybe could you tell us when you first realized that there is a looming climate catastrophe, and where and when and how?
Well, just to the first part, Mike, I just want to be very clear that I'll be working with British Columbians, with my colleagues in government, on delivering on our Clean BC goals, and that those targets are not notional for me. Those are targets that I want our province to hit. And I look forward to making announcements about how we're going to do that and how we're going to continue to implement our Clean BC plan going forward. The second piece is, I think when the impacts of climate change and the disproportionate impacts on British Columbia in particular came home to me were around the pine beetle. I was in opposition, and I was flying into, I think it was Prince George, and I could see the dead trees. You could see just hillsides of dead trees from pine beetle that were able to overwinter because the winters were milder, and the massive impact that it had on our forestry industry, the huge economic losses that followed from that, the increased risk of forest fire, and the devastation to local economies. And since then, we've seen acidification of our oceans affecting our shellfish industry. We've seen horrific climate events, floods, forest fires, the entire city of Lytton burning down. British Columbians are seeing some of the most dramatic climate impacts in all of Canada. And that's why I think there's such support for us being leaders on this issue.